Hi, welcome to Alaskan in Thailand. Here in the beach, Hua Hin again this morning. A little later, it's about 7:30 a.m. Today I thought I'd talk about whether there's crime or not here, how much perch snatching and phone snatchers there are, and will they pickpocket you and steal your backpack and cut into it and all that. Far as I know, so far I haven't heard of any of it. I haven't heard anybody driving by on a motorcycle grabbing anything from you. I've heard it in other Asian countries maybe. I don't know where. Maybe they do that, Vietnam, or I've heard of it in the Philippines. I actually have a friend in the Philippines that told me a story of, just sent me an article, a police article. It was a while ago, months ago, maybe a year ago, about a lady that was drugged because she had like a chain on her purse and she had it around her neck, and a guy grabbed it off on a motorcycle and actually drugged her, and she had bruises and cuts and scrapes from being drugged. I don't know if she kept her purse or not, but yeah, that's something to consider in some places. Is it safe, and are you going to always have to be on guard, worried about getting things stolen from you and attacked, or even kidnapped in some places. So, like I say, here in Hua Hin, everybody carries the money, the man purse, the money belt across the side, or like I do, I carry one right here. You know, keep your phone and your wallet in here, and it's a good thing. Only for me, the reasons because the shorts don't have back pockets, so there's really no pockets to put anything in, really, in shorts. So you want to carry something for your money. Works, helps you, keeps it safe. At least when you get up, you didn't leave anything or anything like that. That's what happens. People leave their phone and stuff. But I was actually sitting with a friend in a mall here in Market Village, and we were sitting there and we just talked for about an hour, and we got up and we were having coffee, and I was getting up, and we both got up and we were going to throw my cup away, and I threw my cup away at a garbage can, but we had to walk past where we were sitting and go around and catch the escalator going down. When we were walking by the same bench we were sitting at, a Thai guy was walking by, coming the other direction. He points at the bench and goes, "Is that your phone?" And my buddy's phone was sitting on the bench. He left it. Shout out to you, Al. You remember if you're watching. But yeah, see that? The guys are actually, not wanting to steal. They gave the phone back. I think it's like the Buddhist teaching here. I think it really has a lot to do with it. Honestly, I don't hear crime. I don't see the police siren running around town fighting crime. You don't see police here hardly at all, actually. It's pretty quiet, relaxed. Everything's on the honor system, it seems like. Even the traffic, it's kind of on the honor system. They have a few lights, but it flows pretty smooth, and it's not as crazy as other places. And like the Philippines, you really had to worry about that stuff in the Philippines. I know, like when I first got into the Cebu airport and sat down, I noticed the men sitting around, they had their backpacks on their ground, but they had their leg through the strap wrapped around their leg so nobody could just come up and grab it and run. That was and I looked around and everybody was doing that. And it's something you have to consider. They also, if you ever watch how a Filipino packs a suitcase, they'll take duct tape and run it completely around the whole suitcase, every square inch, both ways, until it's engulfed in duct tape. They do it with all packages being mailed to. If they're shipping a box, it's completely wrapped in duct tape, so you can't open or lift or cut in and look open or anything, no cracks. They cover every inch of it with duct tape. I learned that. So there's some debauchery. They say, like in the Philippines, you can't even get a credit card shipped in. It won't make it through the mail. They'll get it every time. They say don't even, unless you FedEx it, don't try it through the Philippine mail. They say it'll get it. They'll get it every time. You'll never get the card. And in fact, there was a guy there that a friend of mine that had got a card getting shipped to him, and I asked him how was it getting shipped, and he told me, I said, it ain't gonna make it. And as far as I know, it never did make it when I was there. Maybe it made it after, but I don't think so. So yeah, it's something to consider. Safety is going to be something. When you're old and frail, you ain't going to want to be living in a society where you have to worry about every little thing. I feel sorry for those people like living in Chicago and New York and some bad hood that's just shootouts every night and people trying to scam and steal and break in all the time, steal their motorcycles and steal their stuff. You don't want to live like that, really. So you really kind of the crime factor and the medical factor, if there's good hospitals, kind of be one of the top two things that you're really going to need when you're retired, rather than the pretty girls and the great bar scene and things like that. Them are the things that are really going to matter. Having some safety as you age, you're not going to be able to defend yourself and your property at some point. And some of it's you got to defend from women. That's the two things I've heard of people getting stolen from here was women that they let in their rooms. Two people now I've heard of that happening. Other than that, I've never heard anybody get directly stolen anything from them just right out of the blue like that. Never happened as far as I know. So that's my thoughts on the subject. If you come here to Hua Hin only, I ain't saying Thailand in general. I'm saying this actual place, you really can let your guard down, be smart about it, but you don't have to stress about anything and worry about taking your eyes off of something. I leave my stuff there and walk away 5 minutes, come back, it's still there. There's nobody going to grab and run and things like that. Just use common sense and don't leave your wallet laying around, of course. But yeah, so far I haven't had any problems, and I don't expect to have any. I think it's a pretty cool society and things work great here, and I think I kind of lucked into it. I know it's a lot better than Dumaguete. In Dumaguete, I seem to get looked at like I was a potential target. If I let my guard down or left something sitting there, it was going to be gone. Or if there was a way somebody get some money out of me, they probably would have took the chance. So it's just something I notice around here. I'm really not feeling the vibe of being a piece of meat in the market that might, potentially be a target. So it could be, your results may vary if you're hanging around in bars and other places, but I feel safe walking around here even at night. I can walk out at night, fine. The alleys are dark. I don't mind going down them. I don't think any ties are going to bother me at all. That's my thoughts on the subject. Yours may have different, but far I see, it's a pretty safe place to come and stay. That's what I'm doing. Well, I'll give you a look around before I shut her down. Friday morning. Mermaids out on the rocks this morning. Just getting set up for the day. Sure to check back for new uploads every day. See you in the next one.